Hi, everybody. We're going to be getting started very soon. Thanks for joining for our United Nations call tonight. We're excited to be with you.
Hi, Tammy.
All right, everybody. We have straight up 8:30. Thank you so much for joining us for our United Nations call. We are excited to be with you guys. This is actually times the whole entire week, and I hope it is yours as well. It gets my cup filled up for sure. I'm Tammy Clinton. And to start us off, we have any background, please go ahead and mute yourself if you don't mind. We have Ashley Stone, National Vice President out of Kentucky, and she has 3 girls under the age of 3. She saw the first night when she heard about Arbonne, and she was only 22 years old, actually, and she's been with Arbonne now 13 years. With Arbonne for 13 years and spent the first 6.5 years of her business as district manager before she actually hit her really big shift. And then everything started to change, and it propelled her all the way to national vice president. She has a motto, and her motto, as you can only imagine, based off of that, is "Don't quit for payday." Ashley, we're so excited to have you tonight as our guest. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Awesome. Do you want me to go on and go?
I'm ready for you to just take it away.
Okay. Awesome. Well, hey everybody. Hopefully I'm not cutting out. I know I can see in the contacts that or in the chat box that everybody's saying it's cutting out. So you guys let me know if you can't hear me. But good. Okay. I'm so glad to be on, and thank you so much for having me, Tammy, and for the rest of the team. I know there's several nations that are on this call, and I always see it as such an honor when I'm able to talk to different teams and be entrusted with that. So thank you guys for having me. I am in Louisville, Kentucky. And like Tammy said, I started my business, actually it's almost 14 years ago. In next month, it'll be 14 years ago, and signed up the first night I heard about it. I'm that very rare person that walked straight up to my sponsor, one of my best friends, Cindy Peterson. And I said to her, hey, I'm going to sign up and do this with you. So that never happens, right? But I was at the presentation and walked up and said, hey, I'll join. And like so many of you probably, I did not know what I was getting into. I really thought that I was just signing up to sell a product, right? Loved the products, loved the philosophy of health. And so I thought, sure, I'll do this and make some extra money. And guys, that's really, even though I saw the big picture pretty quickly, I didn't really understand for many years in my business that I was not a salesperson. I really saw this as I was selling Arbonne, and I truly spent the first almost 7 years of my business selling product. And let me tell you, I was pretty good at selling product. I became a district manager within a month or two of starting my business. And I stayed there, like Tammy said, for almost 7 years, 6.5 years. And there was many, many months that, you know, it was not rare for me to hit my district manager bonus. I hit that all the time. And I even qualified for area manager about 3 times over the years, but I never completed it and just couldn't seem to move forward. And it wasn't really until I really came to a crossroads with my family's business. And my family has a successful printing business that I was working in. And long story short, my dad came to me and basically said, honey, you need to step forward in the family business and you need to give up this Arbonne thing. It's not working for you. He said, you know, you've been doing this a long time, but you know, as an entrepreneur, my dad was a very smart businessman and grew a business out of our living room to a multi-million-dollar business. And he said, you know, I learned a long time ago that sometimes in business, we make emotional decisions, but we don't make actual smart decisions based on facts. And I feel like you're holding on to Arbonne emotionally because I know you love it. But the fact is that it's not making you money. And I think you need to step away from it and really focus on the family business because there's opportunity here for lots of money. And, you know, I can groom you to take over this business. And guys, I was actually really devastated by that conversation because I thought maybe he's right. You know, maybe it just was not cut out for me. I just was not cut out for this. But I reached out to my upline that evening, sent a 7-page sob story email to my entire upline, which is very comical to read now. And basically just every excuse you can think of, complained about why I wasn't moving forward. And Kathy Epperson, Executive National Vice President Kathy Epperson, reached out to me. And she said some things that totally changed my business. She said to me, you cannot say that you've been in Arbonne for 6.5 years. And I'm like, yeah, I can. I signed up May of 2005. And she said, no. You might have an Arbonne ID number, but how many months out of those 6.5 years did you actually get in front of 30 people? And I'm like, well, I don't know. But I was so determined to prove to her that I had, that I actually went back and I tracked and looked at my old calendars. And the sad fact is that out of 6.5 years, only 6 months had I actually gotten in front of 30 people. And she said, well, guess what? You've been in Arbonne for 6 months. And actually, you can't even really say that because you didn't do it consistently. So every time you would gain a little bit of momentum, you would pull back and lose it all. And guys, it was like an aha moment for me that I did not have an Arbonne business. So I want to start off and ask you guys, do you have an Arbonne business? When we think about what it means to be a business owner is somebody who owns a business and they work that business every day, right? As a business owner, you know, my family's business, they open their doors from 8 a.m. and actually they run 2 shifts. So it's open till basically midnight. Every single day. And if they close their doors for the weekends or the holidays or whatever, they're not making any money, right? So why do we treat our Arbonne businesses any differently? Number one, we treat them differently because it's $49 to start a business, right? We didn't have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into starting this business like we would a traditional business. So it's very simple to get involved and we don't have a lot of equity financially in it. Number two, we tend to start this alongside something else, right? Most of us don't quit our jobs and then do Arbonne. Most of us start this along something, and we are told that, hey, you can build this in 10 to 15 hours a week, right? At nooks and crannies, we hear that, which, by the way, is true. However, what sometimes gets left out of that is that it has to be 10 to 15 hours of income producing activity. And one thing that I find that was true in my own business and in so many people's businesses is that we're not actually even spending 10 to 15 hours a week on Arbonne. We are thinking about Arbonne 24/7. And so we think that that translates into activity, but most of the time it in fact does not. See, I thought about Arbonne all the time. I loved Arbonne. I was like the Arbonne poster child, had the logo. I mean, I always have an Arbonne logo on, I just love Arbonne. I love the products. And I would talk about it with people, hey, what are you putting on your lips? Do you know what's in that? And so I felt like I was doing Arbonne all of the time. I would do things like sit down and put together some, Arbonne emails to send out to people. And I would make up some great gift baskets and follow up with my same clients over and over and over again. And so it's almost like for any of you who have a regular job, right, or ever worked in an office, have you ever found yourself doing busy work? You know what busy work is, right? Sorry, I saw that I got muted. Busy work looks like you're working, right? But you're not really. You're just trying to appear that you are busy, but you're actually not accomplishing anything. That's what most people do in Arbonne. We are just closet busy workers. We like to think that we're working, but we're actually not accomplishing anything. And that's what I did for a long time in Arbonne. So I want to ask you, how many months out of your business have you actually gotten in front of 30 or more people in a month's time and told the whole Arbonne story? And what I mean by that, because obviously there's so many different systems in Arbonne, but you know what? It all boils down to sharing the Arbonne story. In other words, you talk to somebody in some fashion and you present the business, the products, and you let them choose whether they want to join your business or become a product user, right? Pretty much that's the gist of what we do. That's the whole Arbonne story. So in other words, it's not just handing somebody a sample. It's really walking them through the whole story. How many of you have ever gotten in front of at least 30 people in 30 days? For most of you, you never have, right? I mean, let's just be honest. And don't worry, I didn't either for a long time in Arbonne. Okay. And how many of you, if you have done that for 3 months in a row? Because I want to tell you a little secret. Did you know that you're really only 90 days away from true greatness in this business? 90 days, you can create something truly incredible with Arbonne. That's what's so exciting about this, is that no matter what, if you've been having an Arbonne hobby like I had for a long time, right? I kind of worked it when I felt like it, when the mood struck me, whenever I would get really motivated by GTC or products or whatever, I would work Arbonne really hard. But then somebody would quit and I would get depressed, or life would happen and I would get distracted, and my momentum went straight downhill. And then I'd get motivated by something else and I'd rev back up again. And so my business looked like a real roller coaster. What happens with that is that you never gain momentum. As soon as you get something going, you peter out. We stop, right? And the fact of the matter is that many times your first 30 days that you actually get into full momentum and you're getting in front of 30 or more faces, 30, 40 faces a month, when you do that, sometimes not a lot happens, it seems, at first. Sometimes you get in front of a lot of people and you feel like that was a lot of work. And maybe I only got a few preferred clients, or maybe I only had one person sign up to join my business. Why is that? Well, it's because those 30 people or 40 people or whatever, say you got in front of 60 people, which is even better, you're planting a lot of seeds, right? And sometimes seeds take a little bit of watering before they start to sprout, and then they start to grow. But the problem is that when we don't see immediate results, we pull back. That's just our human nature. You know why that's our human nature? It's our human nature because we have learned to be employees. You see, Dr. Tom Barrett in his book, Dare to Dream, Work to Win, which is one of my favorite books, says that most people have employee mindset. And what employee mindset tells us is that when we work 8 hours, we get paid 8 hours, right? When we do the work, we get paid for the work immediately. It's an immediate gratification. And so we think that that's how all things should be. The problem is that when you become an entrepreneur and you start your own business, you can't think like an employee. Because the fact of the matter is that most traditional businesses won't pull a profit, if they survive, until 5 years in. Did you know that's the average? So 5 years into their business, they typically will kind of start to pull a profit. And now entrepreneurs a lot of times don't get too upset by this because they realize they have to invest a lot up front to get a large payoff in the end, right? Being an entrepreneur is doing what most people won't do for a short amount of time to do what most people will never have for the rest of your life. But we don't think of Arbonne as the same way sometimes. So what happens is when we work really hard 1 month and we get in front of a lot of people, we expect that immediate paycheck, right? And sometimes it's not that great when it comes. Sometimes not everybody joins your business at first. My first paycheck in Arbonne was $7.40. No lie. Okay. Nobody was getting excited about that. Okay. And even my first 30 days that I really got on track in Arbonne, and when I decided that, you know what, I'm going to get in front of the right amount of people. Okay, I'm going to go for this. That month, I actually qualified for area manager. Okay, that's what I was able to accomplish in 30 days of full activity. And I think I got like a $700 paycheck. Okay, I was pretty thrilled with that. That was way more than I had ever gotten before. But it's not like I was a millionaire overnight. Okay, in fact, the next month we had a little bit of a dip. And I thought, why am I having a dip? I'm in so much activity. And Kathy said to me, you just have to stay the course, girl. Keep going. And so I kept going. And, within 3 months of just getting in front of the right amount of people, minding my mind and staying consistent, I went from having a $2,000 a month business to a $20,000 a month business. In 3 months' time, I was a bonusing area manager. I went from having no one on my team to having 5 district managers promoted out within 3 months' time. And it all came down to consistency. You see, one thing that I've learned over and over again is that forget who said it. It wasn't me. I forget who the quote came from, but I love it. And it says, you will never always be motivated. You have to learn to be disciplined. Okay? You will never always be motivated. You have to learn to be disciplined. See, we wait for the next motivation. Why is GTC the biggest month of the year? Because we all go and we're totally on fire from all the training and the new products, and it's amazing. And some people use that as a propellant to move forward. And then some people have a great month and then they die off the next month. That was me for many years, because I was always waiting for the next thing to motivate me. But guys, we are business owners. Do you realize that? You are a business owner, and we have to treat this like a business. If you work a regular daytime job, do you ever wake up and think, man, I don't want to go to work today? Probably every day, right? You think that. So why do you go? Huh? Why? Why do you do it if you don't want to do it? Okay? Because you feel like you have to, right? Why do you feel like you have to? Well, because you'll feel like you'll get fired if you don't go. Then what would happen? Maybe you couldn't pay for your house. Maybe you couldn't feed your kids, right? There would be consequences to those actions. So I want to ask you this. What are the consequences if you don't build your Arbonne business to your full potential? I want you to think about what you want out of this business. Maybe you would like to quit your daytime job. And I want you to think about somebody other than you, okay? Just play along with me for a second. Think about somebody other than yourself that you're going to do this for. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it is your wife if you're a guy or you're a partner. Maybe it is your kids that you're building this for. Maybe it is a nonprofit or an organization that you really believe in. Maybe it is your family members that someday somebody's going to get sick in your family and you're going to be able to write the check for the best treatment for them. Maybe someday your kids are going to want to go to the best school, or they're going to get an amazing opportunity and you're going to be able to give that to them. Think of all of the things that you could do as an executive national vice president in this business, making at least $20,000 a month, having time freedom, the ability to give back. Think of the lives that you could impact. Now, I want you to think about, what if you don't do it? What if you just decide it was too hard and you just didn't do it? You quit, you give up. Or you just continue just not giving your best. I want you to picture that moment when someone in your family gets sick or your child has this amazing opportunity. And I want you to picture yourself saying to them, I'm sorry, I didn't give my best, so I can't give to you now. How does that feel? That feels terrible, right? We don't want to have that feeling. We don't ever want to feel like we let people down. We don't want to let ourselves down. We don't want to let other people down. Guys, that's why every day you have to get disciplined in this business. And you have to realize that there's going to be many moments that you don't feel like working your business. But you say, you know what? I'm going to do it because someday I'm going to be able to do something amazing because I said yes right now to this daily activity. Someday, somebody's going to stand up on that stage while I hand them the keys to the Mercedes, and they are going to thank me for blessing their life because I made this phone call. Okay? Those are the moments that you have to say yes to every single day. I could never have known when I started my business at the age of 22 what this was going to allow me to do one day. For a long time, I struggled with having a why because I didn't quite understand, really what I wanted. I knew I wanted to quit my job, but, I had a pretty comfortable job. I worked for my family. We didn't have any kids. My husband and I have been married 16 years this month. We did not have any children. We lived in a comfortable home. Okay. And I thought I wanted to do this because I wanted something for myself. That was really what kept me moving forward. I worked for my family. Everything was kind of handed to me. I wanted something for myself. But I never, ever saw myself becoming a foster mom someday. Okay. I didn't know that my husband and I were going to struggle with infertility and not be able to have children biologically. I didn't know that I was going to meet National Vice President Sybil Montero, who was going to become my great friend and accountability partner. And I didn't know that she was going to become a foster mom and introduce me to that world. And I didn't know that one day I would be laying on a cabana at the AIT trip in Jamaica, drinking a mimosa, true story, and get a phone call from a social worker saying, we have 3 children that need a home. And they are all under the ages of 3. They are 14 months, or 4 months, 14 months, and 2. And they're sisters. And we're going to break them up and have to send them to other homes because we can't find anyone who will take all 3. In that moment, okay, my husband and I cried, drank another mimosa, said a prayer, called my mom, and we said yes. You know why? Because I'm in a position to do that. because I have an Arbonne business that I've built to the top of this company. I have a beautiful home that had empty rooms. I have time freedom to be able to deal with all of the visits and everything that comes along with foster care. And I had the money to be able to say, you know what, it's going to be a lot, but I can hire babysitters. I can hire a house cleaner. I can hire an assistant for my business, and we can make this work. I could not have predicted that the yes that I said 14 years ago was going to allow me to say yes to my 3 girls. Okay, I could not have predicted that. So just know that what you say yes to, not just the day you sign up to do this business, but the day that you decide to actually build this like a business, and every day that you decide to reach out to someone and share this opportunity, share the products, that you decide to be disciplined and work this business every single day, is going to allow you someday to say yes to something much bigger than you. And I don't know what that's going to be for you. Maybe it's not foster care. Maybe it's a family member that's going to need your help. Maybe it is a cause that is near and dear to your heart. Maybe whatever it is, someday you're going to be able to say yes, because every morning you wake up and you say, yes, today I'm going to build my business. So 90 days, guys. Focus these next 90 days. April is an amazing, amazing month to start your journey if you haven't already. Rev up, give it your best as we go into GTC next month, and you're just going to be able to create amazing, amazing things. Thank you, Tammy. I'll turn it back over to you.
Ashley, oh, so much gratitude for you sharing tonight. Thank you so very much. Oh, my word. You took us on a journey actually through the head, and then you parked yourself right in our hearts. So thank you so much for your transparency. And you were so real in what I think is so normal about our business, and just the wisdom you shared in all of the truths about entrepreneurship. I'm just, my heart is full, and I appreciate you so much for spending your time with all of us. Guys, as we wrap up, I want you just to take the words of Ashley Stone tonight and realize that each and every one of you are 90 days away from your greatness. I can't think of a better way to say it than that, and that discipline is what will get you there. I love you guys all, and thank you so much for joining us for our United Nations call. Thank you, Ashley. Lisa's home. Did y'all see that?